When most of us picture a bee, a very specific image comes to mind: a fuzzy, yellow and black striped insect buzzing around a hive, diligently making honey. This is the European honeybee, an insect so familiar it feels like a permanent fixture of the North American landscape. But what if I told you that these famous bees are not native to this continent? It's true. The honeybee is an immigrant, brought over from England by settlers all the way back in 1622. They were transported across the Atlantic Ocean in special hives, primarily for their incredible ability to produce honey and beeswax, which were invaluable commodities in the colonies. It was a long and difficult journey, but the honeybees that survived quickly established themselves in their new home. These industrious insects are what we call a domesticated species, much like cows or chickens. We manage them in millions of hives across the United States, currently around 2.8 million of them, to be exact. Each one of these hives can house anywhere from 20,000 to 60,000 individual bees, meaning there are over 50 billion honeybees buzzing across the country at any given time. We move them from farm to pollinate massive agricultural crops like almonds, apples, and blueberries. They are the workhorses of industrial agriculture, and their social structure, living in enormous, highly organized colonies with a single queen, makes them relatively easy to manage on a large scale. They are truly fascinating creatures, and their contribution to our food supply is undeniable. However, their celebrity status has overshadowed a much bigger, more diverse, and incredibly vital group of pollinators that were here long before any ship carrying honeybees ever reached American shores. These are the unsung heroes of our ecosystems, the wild native bees of North America. While honeybees get most of the attention and are often the focus of Save the Bees campaigns, they are just one piece of a much larger, more intricate puzzle. Understanding the difference between these managed honeybees and the wild bees that have always been here is the first step in appreciating the incredible biodiversity that exists right in our own backyards and wildlands, a world teeming with life that we are only just beginning to fully understand. The story of the honeybee in America is a success story, a testament to their adaptability and usefulness to humans, but their widespread presence has created a common misconception that they are the only bees that matter, or even the only bees that exist. This couldn't be further from the truth. Their journey to this continent is just the opening chapter in a much deeper and more complex story about pollination, biodiversity, and the delicate balance of nature. To truly understand the world of bees, we have to look past the familiar honeybee and venture into the wild, where an astonishing variety of native species have been quietly keeping our ecosystems healthy for millions of years, long before we ever arrived. Long before the first European settlers arrived, and long before the honeybee made its debut, North America was already buzzing with an incredible array of native bees. These are the continent's original pollinators, a diverse and fascinating group that has evolved alongside our native plants for millennia. We're not talking about just a few different types. Scientists have identified over 4,000 distinct species of wild native bees in North America alone. That's an amazing number, representing a staggering variety of shapes, sizes, colors, and behaviors. From the deserts of the Southwest to the forests of the Northeast and the tundras of the far North, these native bees are everywhere, perfectly adapted to their local environments and the specific plants that grow there. Unlike the social honeybee, which lives in massive perennial colonies, the vast majority of our native bees lead very different lives. Most are solitary, meaning each female builds and provisions her own nest without the help of a queen or worker bees. These bees are the quiet majority, going about their business without much fanfare, but their collective impact is enormous. They are the invisible workforce that keeps our wild landscapes vibrant and healthy. Think about it, a community of over 4,000 different species, each playing a unique role in the ecosystem. This biodiversity is a sign of a healthy environment, a complex web of life where every thread is important, and our native bees are among the most important threads of all. Many people are surprised to learn that the familiar fuzzy bumblebee is one of these native species. Bumblebees are among the few native bees that are social, living in small colonies, usually underground in abandoned rodent burrows or in thick clumps of grass. But even these well-known natives are just one small part of the larger picture. The world of wild bees includes tiny sweat bees that are barely larger than a grain of rice, large and robust carpenter bees that chew tunnels into wood, and sleek mason bees that build their nests out of mud. Each species has its own story, its own unique way of life, and its own special relationship with the flowering plants it depends on. Exploring the world of native bees is like discovering a secret garden hidden in plain sight. Once you start looking, you begin to see them everywhere in city parks, suburban gardens, and wild meadows. You realize that the small, dark insect hovering over a dandelion isn't just a fly, but perhaps a mining bee searching for a place to dig her nest. The metallic green jewel zipping from flower to flower is a sweat bee, one of the most common and important groups of native pollinators. Acknowledging this incredible diversity is crucial. These aren't just other bees, they are the foundational pollinators of our native ecosystems, the original inhabitants who have shaped the very landscapes we call home. When we think of a bee's color, our minds almost automatically jump to the classic yellow and black stripes of a honeybee or a bumblebee. While that pattern is certainly iconic, it represents only a tiny fraction of the incredible palette found in the world of wild native bees. Nature, in its infinite creativity, has painted these essential pollinators in a dazzling array of colors and textures. Imagine a bee that shimmers with an iridescent metallic green, like a tiny flying emerald. That's the sweat bee, a common group of native bees found all across North America. They are often so small and strikingly colored that people mistake them for flies or beetles, completely unaware that they are witnessing one of our most important pollinators at work. The diversity doesn't stop with green. Some native bees are a stunning deep metallic blue like the blue orchard bee, a gentle and incredibly efficient pollinator of fruit trees. Others are jet black and shiny, sleek, and powerful in their appearance, like many of the large carpenter bees that buzz loudly as they forage. You can find bees that are fuzzy and orange, bees with red abdomens, and bees with subtle stripes of white, yellow, or cream against a dark background. This incredible variation in appearance is a direct result of millions of years of evolution, as different species adapted to different habitats, climates, and methods of avoiding predators. A bee's coloration can help it blend in with flowers, startle a potential threat, or regulate its body temperature. Beyond color, wild bees also come in a huge range of sizes and shapes. The largest native bee in North America is the valley carpenter bee, a robust insect that can be over an inch long, with a powerful buzz that you can hear from several feet away. On the other end of the spectrum are the tiny perdita bees, some of which are less than 2 millimeters long, so small they could sit comfortably on the tip of a pencil. Some bees are round and fuzzy like bumblebees, which helps them stay warm in cooler temperatures, while others are slender and smooth, built for speed and agility. This variety is not just for show, it's directly linked to their function in the ecosystem. This amazing diversity in appearance is a visual reminder of the incredible biodiversity of wild bees. Each unique look corresponds to a unique lifestyle and a unique role in the environment. Some bees have extra long tongues to reach nectar deep inside tubular flowers, while others have powerful jaws for chewing the donpar, baudier chunda wood, or leaves to build their nests. Some are covered in dense, branched hairs that are perfectly designed to trap and carry huge loads of pollen. So the next time you're outside, take a closer look at the insects visiting the flowers. You might be surprised to discover that the world of bees is not just black and yellow, but a vibrant rainbow of colors, shapes, and sizes, each one a testament to the beauty and complexity of nature. One of the most significant differences between the familiar honeybee and the vast majority of our native bees is their social structure. Honeybees are eusocial, living in massive, highly organized colonies with a single queen, thousands of female worker bees, and a few male drones. This complex society is fascinating, but it's the exception, not the rule, in the bee world. In fact, about 90% of North America's native bee species are solitary. This means that after mating, a single female bee is responsible for everything. She is the architect, the builder, the forager, and the mother. There is no queen to serve, no hive to defend, and no sisters to help her. Her life's work is performed all on her own. A solitary female's primary mission is to build a nest and provide for her offspring. Where she builds this nest depends entirely on her species. About 70% of solitary bees are ground nesters. These bees, like mining bees and cellophane bees, excavate tiny tunnels in patches of bare or sparsely vegetated soil. The female digs a main shaft with several small chambers branching off from it. In each chamber, she will create a small ball of pollen mixed with nectar, called a pollen loaf. This is the food her baby will eat. Once the pollen loaf is ready, she lays a single egg on it, seals the chamber, and then moves on to prepare the next one. She works tirelessly for her entire adult life, which may only last a few short weeks. The other 30% of solitary bees are cavity nesters. These bees don't dig their own tunnels, but instead look for pre-existing holes to make their home. They might use hollow plant stems, abandoned beetle burrows in dead wood, or even small cracks in rocks. Mason bees, for example, use mud to build partitions between their nest cells, creating a structure that looks like a tiny brick-and-mortar project. Leafcutter bees, on the other hand, use their sharp jaws to snip perfectly circular pieces from leaves, which they then carry back to their tunnel and use to line their nest cells. It's an incredible feat of engineering, all performed by one tiny insect working alone to ensure the survival of her young. After the female has laid all her eggs and provisioned each one with enough food to grow, her life's work is done. She will never meet her offspring. Inside their sealed cells, the eggs hatch into larvae, which consume the pollen loaf their mother left for them. They then transform into pupae and finally, into adult bees. Depending on the species and the climate, they may emerge later that same summer, or wait until the following spring to chew their way out of the nest and begin the cycle all over again. This solitary lifestyle, repeated thousands of times over by countless individuals, is a quiet but powerful force that drives pollination across the continent. These single mothers are truly the unsung heroes of the insect world. Pollination is one of the most vital processes on our planet, a fundamental interaction that keeps our ecosystems functioning and our world green and vibrant. At its simplest, pollination is the transfer of pollen from the male part of a flower to the female part of a flower of the same species. This transfer is what allows the plant to become fertilized, produce seeds, and ultimately create the next generation. Without this crucial step, many plants would be unable to reproduce. They couldn't create the fruits that enclose their seeds or the seeds themselves that are needed for new plants to grow. It is, quite literally, the engine of plant reproduction for a vast majority of the world's flora. While wind, water, and even some birds and bats can be pollinators, insects are by far the most important and effective group, and bees are the undisputed champions of the insect world. Over 80% of all flowering plant species on Earth rely on animal pollinators to reproduce, and bees do the lion's share of this work. They're honestly, perfectly designed for the job. Their bodies are covered in fuzzy, branched hairs that act like Velcro, trapping pollen grains as they move from flower to flower. They're also driven by a powerful need to collect pollen and nectar to feed themselves and their young. This motivation ensures that they visit hundreds or even thousands of flowers each day, making them incredibly efficient couriers of pollen. The results of this tireless work are all around us. Every apple, cherry, almond, melon, and squash you've ever eaten is a direct result of a bee visiting a flower. The seeds and berries that feed birds and other wildlife through the fall and winter exist because of pollinators. The beautiful wildflowers that carpet our meadows in the spring and summer depend on them to set seed for the following year. Pollination doesn't just give us food and pretty flowers, it supports entire ecosystems. Healthy plant communities provide habitat for countless animals. Their roots hold soil in place to prevent erosion. They help maintain water quality, and, through photosynthesis, they produce the very oxygen we breathe. When you start to connect the dots, you realize that the small act of a bee visiting a flower has massive cascading effects. A healthy and diverse community of pollinators leads to a healthy and diverse community of plants. This, in turn, supports a healthy and diverse community of animals, from insects and birds to mammals and, ultimately, humans. We are deeply connected to this process, whether we live on a farm or in a high-rise apartment in the city. The work of these tiny buzzing creatures underpins the stability and health of our entire planet. They're not just visiting flowers. They're building the foundation of life as we know it, one pollen grain at a time. While all bees are good at pollinating, some native bees possess extraordinary skills that make them uniquely effective, far surpassing what honeybees can do. One of the most amazing of these techniques is called buzz pollination, or sonication. Certain plants, including important food crops like tomatoes, peppers, potatoes, and blueberries, hold their pollen very tightly inside their anthers. The pollen won't come out by just brushing against it. To get to it, a bee needs to vibrate the flower at a very specific frequency, essentially shaking the pollen loose. Honeybees are physically incapable of doing this, but bumblebees and some other native bees are masters of this craft. To perform buzz pollination, a bumblebee will grab onto the flower with its legs and mandibles, and then rapidly contract its powerful flight muscles without moving its wings. This creates a strong vibration that travels through its body and into the flower, causing the anthers to release a cloud of pollen onto the bee's fuzzy body. If you listen closely, you can actually hear the change in the bee's hum. It becomes a distinct middle C buzz. This remarkable ability makes bumblebees essential for the successful pollination of many important crops and native plants that would otherwise produce very little fruit. They are specialists who have unlocked a food source that is inaccessible to many other insects. Beyond buzz pollination, another fascinating aspect of wild bees is the high degree of specialization found in many species. While honeybees are generalists, meaning they will visit almost any type of flower, many native bees are specialists. They have evolved over millions of years to have a very close and sometimes exclusive relationship with a specific type of plant. For example, the squash bee is a specialist that forages almost exclusively on the flowers of squash, pumpkins, and other gourds. They are so attuned to these plants that they wake up before dawn to meet the flowers as they open, often finishing their day's work before many other bees have even woken up. Some of these relationships are even more extreme and showcase the intricate web of coevolution. The Death Camas mining bee, for instance, is the only bee that can safely consume the pollen of the Death Camas flower, which is highly toxic to all other bees, including honeybees. This bee has evolved a unique physiology that allows it to neutralize the toxins, giving it exclusive access to a reliable food source. These specialist relationships are incredibly important for biodiversity. They ensure that even less common or unusual plants get pollinated, maintaining the richness of our native flora. It also highlights the vulnerability of these systems. If a specialist bee disappears, the plant it pollinates may be at risk of disappearing too. Despite their incredible importance and amazing diversity, our native wild bees are in serious trouble. Across North America and around the globe, bee populations are dwindling at an alarming rate, and this decline is largely driven by human activities. While much of the media attention is focused on the struggles of honeybees, research now shows that our wild native species are facing an even greater crisis. An estimated half of all North American wild bee species may be in decline, a staggering figure that points to a widespread environmental problem. This isn't just a few species having a bad year, it's a systemic issue that threatens the health of our entire continent. One of the biggest threats to wild bees is habitat loss. As we convert wild meadows, forests, and grasslands into cities, suburbs, and vast monoculture farms, we are destroying the two things bees need most to survive: a safe place to nest and a diverse array of flowers to eat. For the 70% of solitary bees that nest in the ground, a paved parking lot or a perfectly manicured lawn is a barren desert. For the cavity nesters, the removal of dead trees and hollow stems leaves them with nowhere to raise their young. The endless fields of a single crop like corn or soybeans, which offer no nectar or pollen, create what are essentially food deserts for these essential insects. The widespread use of pesticides is another major driver of bee decline. Insecticides, which are designed to kill pests, are often indiscriminate and can be lethal to bees and other beneficial insects. Even at non-lethal doses, these chemicals can impair a bee's ability to navigate, forage, and reproduce, weakening them and making them more susceptible to diseases. Herbicides or weed killers also pose a significant threat by eliminating the very weeds, like clover and dandelions, that are often a critical source of food for bees, especially in early spring when few other flowers are blooming. This chemical warfare on our landscapes is having a devastating and silent impact on our pollinators. The consequences of this decline are already becoming apparent. Researchers estimate that about a quarter of all wild bee species in North America could be at risk of extinction. In 2017, this threat became a stark reality when the rusty, patched bumblebee, once a common sight across the eastern United States, became the first bee in the continental United States to be listed as an endangered species. Its population has plummeted by nearly 90% in just a few decades. The rusty-patched bumblebee is a canary in the coal mine, a warning sign of a much broader crisis. The silent disappearance of our native bees is a direct threat to the resilience of our ecosystems and the security of our food supply. The news about bee decline can feel overwhelming, but the good news is that we all have the power to be part of the solution. You don't need to be a scientist or a beekeeper to make a real positive impact on the lives of our native bees. In fact, some of the most effective actions are small, simple changes we can make right in our own yards, gardens, and communities. One of the most important things you can do is to provide food for bees. This means planting flowers. Specifically planting native flowers, shrubs and trees that are adapted to your local climate and are the preferred food source for your local native bees. Even a small patch in a garden or a few pots on a balcony can become a vital refueling station for these hard-working insects. Another critical way to help is to provide safe nesting sites. Remember, most native bees are solitary and need a place to lay their eggs. For the ground nesting majority, this means leaving some patches of bare, undisturbed soil in a sunny spot in your yard. Resist the urge to cover every square inch with mulch or turf grass. A small, out-of-the-way patch of earth can become a bustling bee nursery. For the cavity nesters, you can help by leaving dead wood, such as an old log or a snag, a standing dead tree, in your yard. You can also create simple bee hotels by drilling holes of various sizes into a block of untreated wood or by bundling together hollow stems like bamboo or reeds. Just as important as providing food and shelter is eliminating threats. The simplest way to do this is to avoid using harmful chemicals in your garden and on your lawn. Stop using insecticides, fungicides, and herbicides. These products can be devastating to bees and other beneficial insects. Learn to embrace a little bit of wildness in your yard. A few dandelions or some clover in the lawn aren't signs of neglect. They are a sign of a healthy, living ecosystem that provides crucial food for pollinators. By creating a safe haven free from poisons, you are making a direct contribution to the survival of the bees in your neighborhood. A healthy garden buzzes with life, and that's a beautiful thing. Finally, one of the most powerful things you can do is to spread the word. Talk to your friends, family, and neighbors about the importance of wild native bees. Share what you've learned about their diversity, their solitary lives, and the challenges they face. Encourage your local schools, parks, and community centers to plant native flower gardens and adopt bee-safe practices. Many people simply don't know about these unsung heroes and the crucial role they play. By sharing this knowledge, you can inspire others to take action, creating a network of safe havens for bees that can stretch across your entire community. Every small effort, when multiplied, can lead to big changes. As we've journeyed into the secret world of wild bees, we've uncovered an astonishing universe hidden in plain sight. We've learned that the familiar honeybee is just one character in a much grander story. A story starring over 4,000 species of native bees that have shaped our continent for millions of years. We've seen that they are a rainbow of different colors, from metallic green and blue to deep black and fiery orange. They are architects and engineers, single mothers working tirelessly to build nests in the soil, in wood, and in the hollow stems of plants. They are masters of their craft, capable of incredible feats like buzz pollination that keep our food supply and our ecosystems thriving. It's also important to remember that these wild bees are generally very gentle creatures. Unlike honeybees or yellow-jacket wasps, which may sting to defend a large colony and its food stores, solitary bees have no hive to protect. A female's main priority is to lay her eggs, and she is not aggressive. Most are so small and docile that you can watch them up close without any fear. They are not interested in you or your picnic. Their entire focus is on finding the next flower. They are our friendly, fuzzy neighbors, and they are working hard every single day to keep our planet healthy. Getting to know them is not just fascinating, it's a reminder of the gentle, productive side of nature. The decline of these vital pollinators is a clear and urgent warning. It tells us that our environment is out of balance, but it is not a message of despair. It is a call to action. The fate of the rusty-patched bumblebee and thousands of other species rests in our hands. The choices we make in our own backyards, the flowers we plant, the chemicals we avoid, the small patch of bare ground we leave untouched, have a direct and meaningful impact. By creating small pockets of healthy habitat, we can build a network of support for these bees, helping them to survive and thrive in a changing world. It's a powerful demonstration of how local actions can contribute to solving a global problem. So, the next time you step outside, I encourage you to look a little closer, listen for the buzz, watch the flowers and see who comes to visit. You might just spot a metallic green sweat bee, a leaf cutter bee carrying a piece of a leaf, or a fuzzy bumblebee doing its middle C buzz on a tomato flower. When you see them, you'll know you're looking at one of nature's most important and unsung heroes. You'll understand the vital connection between that tiny insect and the food on your table, the birds in the trees, and the health of our planet. Let's work together to ensure that their buzz never fades from our gardens and wildlands.